Hey, we'd like to welcome everyone to today's meeting. I think this will be a relatively shorter meeting than usual. Um, and Aaron is double and triple booked, so he may or may not join, but he just asked me to go ahead and conduct since he isn't here. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat or raise your hand. This meeting is being recorded, so we will send it out afterwards, as well as notes capturing the questions and answers and the slides. Okay, so like I said, the agenda is pretty short today. First, we have some UTREX updates from Cliff. Then we will have a USIMS presentation update by the USIMS team. And then Riley will be giving us an update on the SOAR report. And finally, I will just give a quick announcement about the latest updates to the UTREX specifications. Okay, so I will go ahead and turn the time over to Cliff. Cliff, are you there?
It looks like he's here, but maybe he's having some camera and microphone issues.
Yeah, I see him on.
Okay. Well, Katrina and Mark, are you guys okay if you guys go first and then we can circle back to the Utrecht team?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to do
Okay,
that.
perfect.
Yep, it works for me.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Thank you. My name's Katrina Brinkley. I'm the Chief Product Owner and Program Manager for USIMS, the Utah Schools Information Management System. We've talked with y'all a few times before, but we wanted to give you some updates on things that have recently happened in the USIMS world that are pretty exciting. Calista, yeah, you're sharing. Could you go to the next slide, please? So for our educator domain, we're working on what we're calling a soft launch right now for educator assignments. And this will impact every LEA in the state who used Cactus for their assignments. We're working on taking over that functionality from Cactus and moving it into USIMS. So as you can see, we've created a homepage for the LEA users that will show off those educators in their LEA that are not properly licensed, that are underallocated, or who are unassigned. And they can go in and assign these educators to the right schools, the right um, give them the right employment and do all of that progress. If you could go to the next slide, please. You can also update their employment. You can go in and add an educator or remove an educator, set their FTE status. Next slide, please. And these are exact screenshots. So for those of you who are in the soft launch, you've probably already seen these before. But those of you who are not, the general release is coming very, very soon, and we'll be releasing this out to every LEA. So please let your administrators know that this is coming. So if you log into USIMS and you go into the homepage and you have access right now via the soft launch, if you click on this little hamburger or sandwich or whatever you want to call it, you can pull up a menu that'll give you this information. We do have to have given you access to this. So if you go into USIMS and you don't see this yet, it means you're not part of the soft launch. But we will be granting this access to the rest of LEA users who are deemed by their LEA to need this access. And that'll be through working with our educator licensure team on who should have this access to be able to add assignments to their LEA. If you are interested in this work or interested in having some questions answered, we are more than happy to answer those questions here, or you can message our product owner for the educator domain. His name is Tim Davis. And we also discuss these in our focus working groups and our sprint review meetings on a regular basis. I'm going to pause. Are there any questions before I move on to the next domain? At what point will we stop doing this in Cactus and only do it in USIMS? So right now the soft launch is happening. These are users who have volunteered to kind of explore it and see. We are targeting moving this in February sometime. So hopefully in the next month or so, we'll be transitioning to doing it only in USIMS. We do not have a solid date because that soft launch, we're getting any feedback and making sure that we address that before we release it out to the entire state. Any other questions? Who can we contact to help with questions? Anyone in educator licensing can help you with those questions, or you can call our help desk, and we have somebody on the help desk who actually can help answer those questions on how to use it. You can also reach out to myself or to Tim Davis, our product owner, for these soft launch questions. I believe educator licensure is also they did some training on it in November that you should have access to, that you can pull up and review the recording as well. These are great questions. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, next slide, please, Callista. All right, finance domain. There have been changes in the finance domain as well. We have recently released the account combination search in the balance sheets, the expenditure accounts, and the revenue account combinations. You can now look at these in USIMS and see all of these account combinations actually in USIMS. These are the things that we are working on sharing through our API with your financial institution vendor, your FIS. That's the word. So we've got one, two, three, four, five, six, sorry, seven APIs or seven vendors that we're currently working on integrating with the finance API. And you can see the update here that we've gotten a successful full submission from a pilot LEA in Polaris. So if that's your financial vendor, your financial system vendor, we've successfully verified that things are functioning on that API. And we're going through what we're calling parallel testing just to make sure that those submissions remain the same. With Link, they're following up on some USBE feedback. They received feedback for their submission, and everybody's kind of tweaking things just to make sure that they're working. And it looks like they'll be the next ones to go into full parallel testing. Sage Intacct and Harris are both working on their pilot submissions, working on getting that full submission into us. And Skyward, Tyler Tech, and Power School will be a couple months behind those. They're working on getting those first submissions in and getting the API developed with us to ensure that they can connect properly. Any questions on the finance API or the finance domain? Excellent. And as a reminder, the finance API is going to be replacing UPEFs. So eventually, instead of uploading manually to UPEFs, you'll be using the API to send your submissions automatically so that you don't have to go in and do those manual updates. You just send it off to us via electronic send, and it's already done. You don't have to do anything manual or submit or get errors back without knowing exactly what's going on. So if we can turn the time over to Mark Waddups for the student domain, and we can go to the next slide, please, Callista.
Thank you, Katrina and Callista. Hello, everybody. I'm the product owner for the student domain, as Katrina just mentioned. Just wanted to mention the LEA API Client Secret Manager that we've been working on. I mean, you can see there that the intention here for this tool, or the purpose, is to allow LEAs to manage the API secrets for the student backpack And I imagine, at least for the student domain, that any other future API secrets would be managed in this solution as well. Some of you have been participating in a pilot that we've been doing with two LEAs right now, and getting feedback and just using that to quickly iterate and make changes. We've made a number of changes and added some functionality that will allow the LEA admin or a person that the LEA designates to manage the account. So the purpose or the benefits you can read there in the slide, but the purpose of this is to overall to allow LEAs to increase security by allowing you to control who has access to those secrets. As you probably know, those secrets, if we try and use the best real world analogy I can use, it's like a set of keys to be able to turn the lock to open information. And so um, we'll be rolling this out as soon as the pilot is completed. We'll be looking to roll this out as our SIS vendors complete their testing and integration for the student backpack. Right now, we're Power School and Davis County have both been actively working with us to, and some of you have been participating in the pilot that I mentioned before to give us that feedback. And again, just be looking for this um, as your SIS vendor gets close to integration completion. Then we'll start with a few LEA pilots, and then we'll start marching that out from there. We talked about this briefly in the last kind of the fall data conference, but we've actually not only completed the client secret portion to allow you to do that, but now someone with client admin access can now set up your own users. You can see in the screenshot there's a manage user access and an activity log, which allows you to see what activity has happened on that particular on your LEA's secret account. So if somebody comes in and makes a change, then you'll be notified. We've also created some alerts so that via email, 7 days before your client secret is about to expire, you'll get an email notification so that you can go in and generate a new one, and another email to let you know when that expiration is actually happens, so you can go in and continue your service. And again, this is for increased security. So let's say in the case that somebody leaves the organization and you forget to remove that particular user, you know that within 90 days, for instance, that and you set that as an LEA according to your policies. There's some options to be able to do that, but you set that so that if somebody does leave, they don't have access to that client secret as that is set to expire. So hopefully that makes sense. Are there any questions or any concerns or feedback that you have that I can address? And while you're thinking about that, just wanted to emphasize again when we say rollout, you'll be getting notifications. We'll be working with those SIS vendors like we are today to notify you when that becomes available. And we want to roll this out as the student backpack integration is completed with each SIS vendor. That way, you're not getting an invite to the application only to wait 3 months or more for when the integration is completed for for the SIS vendor that you're using. Excellent. If you have any questions, post this. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Callista. That concludes it for USIMS.
Okay, thank you, Katrina and Mark. We will go ahead and go back to Cliff. I believe his audio is working now. Cliff, are you ready?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Go ahead to the next slide.
So I think
Oh,
uh
okay. I'll just speak
yeah.
to my slide. Sorry. So there's been a change agency-wide that we are working with multi-factor authentication, and this is a security practice that we're implementing out across all of the existing applications. What I'm speaking towards today is going to be for the two primary applications that we're working on from the Utrecht side. And that's, again, any front-facing place that you would log in, which would include your data gateway and the SSID application. So those are expected both to be rolled out within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And we don't have an official date for that, but with the security aspect of this, we are looking to put it out as soon as it's available and try to work with anybody who does have any concerns or complications as they come up. So I'll also have some additional slides that we'll be sending out with this presentation afterwards that will include what you should expect for the screenshots for the multi-factor authentication, kind of what it'll look like. But the primary thing that should be known is that this is an authentication through Microsoft's uh, authenticator. So the official Microsoft authenticator is what it's going to be initially running you through. It does give you an option to choose your own. But our recommendation is still to go through with that Microsoft Authenticator. And if you do not have a Microsoft account, that also is a key part of this multi-factor authentication. And it will be across all of the USB applications. So having that Microsoft account set up is going to become a needed thing for being able to access the current applications that you do today. When you go to log in with your current URLs, you're going to see a login button that specifically jumps you to the multi-factor authentication, then walks you through the normal step-through process, which is fairly cut and paste for the standard for the Microsoft's multi-factor authentication that will, make sure that you can select your Microsoft account, use that specifically for the multi-factor. And then once you've selected that account or created that account, again, you don't have to create one for each application, but they will all reference it, the individual account that you do create. And they do still have to be set up individually for each one. So when you get your account set up for SSID, you'll still have to link that same Microsoft account over to the data gateway or MSP or whatever other application that you currently have access to and log into. Again, for our current application systems. Okay, I just saw in the chat, we've got a couple messages here of what MFA are we planning on using? I think I covered that one. The second factor authentication code to email, I do believe it requires a full authenticator system. to be able to use a alternate, and it still requires that Microsoft account. So it strictly is just if you, for instance, are a big fan of using Authy instead of Microsoft Authenticator, it allows you to do that, but it doesn't allow you to go through a different process that doesn't include having that Microsoft account. Does that help with a lot of the questions are about what the secondaries are or what kind of MFA account system it's going to offer? And people can feel free to come off of mute and ask if they have any direct questions or just put them in the chat as I'm watching that.
Hey Cliff, it sounds like people are asking, you said that it still relies on requiring a Microsoft account, but many of the LEAs do not provide Microsoft accounts. So how will they get around this?
There is no getting around it.
So sorry, how will they be able to
Yes.
authenticate without a Microsoft account?
They won't. They will have to create one. So it's a non-optional security piece, which is decided on agency-wide. So if you have something that blocks being able to go to Microsoft and be able to set up such account, or if you need to discuss with your LEA admins security aspects of having a Microsoft account, then please do so now and loop us in with any concerns that you have. And we're happy to set up a meeting to discuss with any LEA admins that are having issues with it. But again, this is a statewide requirement for accessing it and for security purposes. So there may not be a lot of leeway that we have to work with on this. A personal Microsoft account or work account is one of the questions that I'm seeing, and it will take either. This is not so much about requiring that we're linking to your specific work email, your LEA email. It's about that two-factor that we can know for sure that you are who you are and have that as the process going through this and using that linked to existing email account that you already have with these accounts. So that's a bit of a connecting piece that may be helpful for you to understand as well as that the primary connecting link is your existing email in the account so you already have that access with. So for instance, SSID, if you have a specific email that you're using there, that is the required email to be able to set up this authentication with Data Gateway. And that's the one where it gets the, most questionable of if you need to update your account with the Data Gateway to make sure that this will transition smoothly. If for any reason you don't have everything up to current and you don't have access to the emails that you have your authorization with, that has to change. We will not have any ability to support anybody who no longer has access to the emails that are established with their usernames. All right, let me see any other questions we've got here. So again, the personal account, it does still work with that, but it would require, again, that you're using that email is aligned with what you've got in the application. So then a district will have to pay for Microsoft services. This is in no way a cost situation. There's no agreements that have to be made between you and Microsoft other than the standard. I'm using this for a two-factor and linking or setting up an account that's solely for the purpose of doing this. you can use it after that, I guess. So, but our realm of concern is that it has to be in place for this. And yeah, so it doesn't have to be personal accounts. It can be work accounts if you already have Microsoft with your employment, then that's perfectly acceptable. Any Microsoft account, again, is acceptable so long as, again, the emails are linked through. And that, yes, will be a change for login with the data gateway. So when you use your current URL to go to the data gateway, you click on the login. It's going to take you over directly to your MFA. Your multi-factor, if it's your first time, then it'll walk you through the setup of that and let you create an account or let you link an account. And why is this being rolled out mid-year? Security purposes. This has come down from our chief security officer that with the environment that we're in, this needs to be our, top priority to get this out as soon as possible and to make sure that this is, protecting all of our data, our students, and with the potential leaks and things which have happened, not just here in Utah, but across the nation, that there is a lot of reason for this, that we have to take care of this, and that it is not a plan ahead, months to figure it out. The ability to, again, set up the account that's needed. We haven't found any snags where where it will not be allowed from your agencies. So I would appreciate anybody who does have any snags to jump over to the help desk and start working with us on those now. And we'd be very happy to work through scenarios with you on that escalated time frame that's being asked of us, and helping find ways to work through any complications you might be able to find. Right. So the next we've got is how does the so about a Google option. Again, the basis of it isn't a variable. It is always going to be through the Microsoft. The only part that can be allowed from Microsoft as an optional is just using your different authenticator software. So again, as I referenced, like a Authy instead of Microsoft Authenticator, any of the official authenticator apps, I think may be supported. There may be a limited amount of those that Microsoft allows, but that does keep you from having to have exactly a single account. And those accounts are also available both via your desktop or via your phone. So it doesn't mandate that you have to have your phone right there to do it. That is, in most cases, the most convenient way and the chosen way that people do these authenticator apps, is that they have it on their phone for quick access, but they are also available via the web. Right. And yes, it does have the QR code, so completely standard. And that's one of the reasons why we are using the Microsoft long tested, completely, battle tested version of the authentication system that's in place. Plus, we also are very much a Microsoft shop for how we uh, build out our systems, and our choices do tend to lean that direction.
Cliff.
Yeah.
Um, so that last statement, USB is a Microsoft shop, but the majority of LEAs are not. And there's more than one way to do MFA. There's ways to do MFA that are not specific to what kind of email account I have. Why aren't we exploring something that is more, doesn't force us into something? Because you say you haven't run into any snags, but my LEA has a snag that you can't create a Microsoft account with your uh, work provided email address, which is what all of our principals are using to log into the data gateway. So it's not going to work for us without us making significant changes on that we've made for management reasons, for security reasons. Like this is not something you can just push out and say, sorry, you have to do it. You're essentially locking at least one LEA out until we figure this out how to make it work for us, and we need time to do that. We can't just do this at the drop of a hat.
Okay, I can work with you after this, Stephen, to try to bring those concerns to our dedicated MFA team, which is, fronting this and helping this work. Stacy, I see you're also saying that you're on that list, so please give me your lists. Any LEAs which feel that they are not compatible with this.
Cliff, I think
Or
it's
everybody
safe to
else.
say it's probably a majority of the state, but if you want to collect a list, I,
I do.
I mean, that's doable, but
Yeah. Um, this could cause a slowdown. What we find with working with you on this, our intent isn't to shut things down. Um, our intent is to get security in place as quickly as possible, and it was chosen to not go through the flexible concepts of multiple possible MFAs, that it was a singular choice that we had to do across the state, across all of our applications. So, I appreciate the feedback, and this is a big reason why I wanted to get this out to everyone as quickly as possible to where we can start to get any feedback or complications discussed and strategized of if there are things that we need to work out with you to be able to make this happen. So yeah, I see the message list is getting pretty big. Lots of instances where this is going to be complications. So again, I do not believe that the interpretation is that if you are a Google founded LEA, that this is going to prevent you from being able to use the authenticator and to be able to set up the MFA. But that does look like that is the resounding concern that people have, is that is this going to not be available for me to do because of being a Google-based system versus a Microsoft-based. So that's my primary takeaway from this. And yeah, right now I don't have the ability to say that I have a decision as far as with changing any of this. But I do have the, ears of everybody that's involved in making these decisions, and if we do need to make any changes to be able to keep everybody able to do their jobs. So I will happily take all this feedback and pass it on, and probably set up a dedicated meeting, which sounds like it might be with most of you, I'll make sure that everybody who has responded here does get an invite, and it may end up just turning into a full global invite of all LEA admins, similar to this meeting, to work out any concerns with the authentication decisions, which are being pushed for us to get rolled out as soon as possible. All that said, is there any high concerns anybody wanted to speak to? I see Stacy, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just put this in the chat, but I honestly think with the scrolling of the chat, I honestly think it would be worth an investment of USBE's time to authenticate via Google or Microsoft with 2FA. And you can do that with an app. And we all know that and we've all done it. But if there's any way that you can honor Microsoft and Google, I think that would be worth the state's investment of time. And I know you're trying to hurry to get this done, but when you think of the scope of the people that you're dealing with, not just the people in this room, but every principal, every counselor, every special ed director, behind me giving the speech that I'm a Google school, there's 100 people who log into the data gateway that are being affected by this. And I think the scope, if what we are talking about is much bigger than the list that you're seeing here. And I honestly am just going to say it one last time is I think it would be worth the investment of USBE to spend some time to how you can authenticate with both. That's all.
Yeah, before I move on, I just want to try to ask that question for you directly of, do you also have a policy that says that your staff is not allowed to be able to create a Microsoft account? Because I think that there's still that sort of definition there of that's where this might become more of a hard stop with the current plan and rollout, is if there's a hard decision from your LEA that says this is strictly not allowed versus we prefer to do this, this is what we have, but if somebody were to go out and try it, it's not going to be prevented. The application still would work potentially for them. You just wouldn't necessarily be happy about splitting your two-factor.
Well, I don't know that we have that policy or not. And if what Jonathan says is true, and if I can create a Microsoft account that says stacy.gom at ccsdut.org, and it's a Microsoft account and a Google account, that's really, that's okay. But I have a personal problem with people creating personal accounts to log into a state authenticated system. And I don't think that's the right way to go for this. And that scares me because I can't monitor those. I can't see those. Those aren't secure. They're not in our district system. All of the other stuff that we have done as a district to keep our system secure kind of goes out the window when we email people and say, oh, hey, just set up a personal Microsoft account to get through this authentication. Well, we have no way of tracking that. We have no way of keeping track of that. And we have no way to monitoring that. And that's scary for me.
Yeah. So let me keep it still in sync that it's possible to have that, personal account reference, but that personal account would still have to be the same account which is in those applications. So that typically doesn't happen, and that does kind of lean this more towards that it is like the LEA provided email, because it does require that it does match up with that application's listed email for the user. But I do know that there are instances where people do use their personal emails already for the data gateway, and I do respect that that's something that should be moved away from.
Cliff, if I can just jump in, I don't know if that's totally true. Aaron has a set of guidelines when we create accounts and give roles, and we try to always associate a data gateway account with a school account, a work account, a Cactus ID, so we don't just allow personal accounts. There's very few exceptions for that. So just,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I know that there might be some exceptions, but the primary pattern, like you said, is that we do try to keep those linked up directly with LEAs, and everything is easily attestable to your domain, that we aren't linking an account to something that doesn't look like the right domain. But I can definitely see that there's a whole lot of concern, and that this is going to warrant some additional meetings. And I will uh, rally up all of the conversations that people are putting into the chat and put together such a meeting ahead of this release. So um, hopefully that will mean within the next week, I should be able to have something planned out and put out for a follow-up meeting to go through these concerns. And again, we are certainly not going to push this out with a lot of clear knowledge that it's going to break, massive amounts of people. So we'll get back to you on that pretty quickly. All right, so I did have a couple other things that I wanted to discuss for some Utrex updates. Um, the the key one that I wanted to bring up next was the level 2 validations are currently all active. So during the December finalizer period, we did have some instances where we had concerns with some of them not showing up as expected. Those have all been worked through, resolved.
Katie now. Okay. So,
Oh,
hey, Cliff.
sorry. Hold on. Jared, I didn't mean to answer your call. Can you drop the call for me? I'm presenting.
Oh, sorry, let me mute this. EA meeting. Policy. Okay.
Yeah, I'm presenting in an LEA meeting, and I tried to not answer the call. Did I get dropped out of my LEA meeting?
No, you're still
We're
here,
still
Cliff.
here. Yep, we
All
can hear
right,
you.
yeah. So I need to let you guys go.
No, you're good. Call me or let me know when you're available.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. Bye.
No, you're good. Oh,
All right. Apologize about that. So the level 2s are all in place. There shouldn't be any that are in the realm of these are not accurate. If you have any that you believe are still not showing up correctly, that is a valid instance to open up a ticket for us and let us know, and we'll work with that. And that also covers both the address validations, the district of residence validations, the dual kindergarten, dual scram, any of those. If there are any concerns still, our understanding is that we have all of our fixes out in place in production, and if unless we hear anything, then we'll be assuming that we've taken care of them accurately. All right. Other than that, we do have some feedback that again, the Scram teacher is to the point where it is able to be sent, and it's able to be stored into the system. The remaining parts that we have left that we're working on are bringing it back out to one roster, which we are pretty close on releasing that out. I think that should be out within the next week, to have that also able to be sent out through one roster to our vendors. And then the remaining work will be things such as putting it out into storage, sending it to the warehouse for long-term usage. And then we should have that Scram teacher completed. Any questions? The behavior codes. So I think you're referring to the I2 incidents that were put out onto the clearinghouse specification early. Those are still not available, or even to the point of being 100% locked into place. So I do not have a time frame yet that we'll be able to put those in to where those can actually, go through as normal and not have complications trying to use the new set of codes. So I apologize that the spec didn't clearly say that that wasn't released out yet, and that has been put into place by some LEAs already. Yes, our intent should be still that we expect to have it at least by end of year. We're not trying to make the concept disappear. We're just trying to, again, get it solidified before we have it implemented and pushed out. And there are still complications we've had on getting that solidified. Is the information in the Utrecht specifications yet for what data is expected for the alternate assessment teacher? I'm not 100% on the correlation with that. I know with the Scram teacher, we have the different subject types where we'll be recording that information. And that was the one that I was referring to, that we have in place and able to bring into the system. Do you want to clarify a little bit more, Peggy, on which alternate assessment teacher you're referring to? Also a question here about the summer EBT. We'll be back as a topic soon. Do we have an ETA for the FRAM override being accepted in Utrecht's? I think I'll probably need to let child nutrition speak to the aspect about the override being fully accepted. But I can say that we are storing and making all that information available for child nutrition.
Cliff, no, I think what he's referring to is it's already been all approved. It's a JIRA ticket. So I can send you the ticket link. But I know exactly what he is talking about.
Okay. So I apologize for not being ready for that one. It sounds like that's in the works, and that we'll be getting that out and hopefully being able to give an update for you at our next meeting. So Peggy responded back on in the Scrum record, there are fields for the alternate assessment teacher for ELA, math, and maybe science. I think that does sound basically like what I was referring to for being able to give an actual cactus ID for each of those. And that's the part that we have implemented out that we're referring to as being the Scrum teacher for, again, each of those different assessment areas. So I think we're probably aligned on that. Please check the specification, and if it's not aligned with that, then feel free to drop me a ticket and I can try to work with you on where that gap is and also bring in some additional sources from our special education to make sure that we have it planned for what you're hoping for. Okay, and then the cactus ID is the data expected, yes. Okay. Yeah, I'll double check the specification and see if there's something we can add for clarification on how that should be presented. We are doing another revision on that right now, so we should be able to get that feedback loop through pretty quickly if there's something that we can help with making that more clear. All right, well, that's my hot topics for today. I can hand back off and again be looping back to help everybody out with these details about what's going to happen with the two-factor authentication as I, discuss with leadership and our dedicated MFA team.
Cliff, so are you wanting us to compile from the chat a specific list or
I was planning to just copy and paste the long list and then kind of compile my own. But if you
okay.
do it, you can do that. Your call.
Okay. Okay, we will move on. Riley has a quick update on the SOAR report, so I will go ahead and turn the time over to Riley.
Hi everyone. So just providing a quick update on the SOAR report, which is the Student Outcome Accountability Report. This is often accessed, I think, by counselors. So Bethany Marker at USB is also letting her lists of counselors know, but school years 2023, 2024, and 2025 are now available on the USB data gateway. So the way you access it, and you have to have right permissions. So people might be coming to you. You go log in, and then you go to My Tools, and then you go to SOAR, which is underneath counseling, and you select your district and then school, or you can select all LEA schools report zip file, and that will download a zip file of all the reports for all the schools in your LEA. And we just ask that you review these now and let us know by mid-February if there's any schools that are missing or don't have updated data, so we can get that looked at. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Riley. I will just give a brief announcement. So, there has been a Melissa Preziosi is the one who is over getting the Utrecht specifications updated, and so she has been following a schedule for the past few years of doing it twice a year, and so, or I should say twice a school year, and so the second round of updates has been happening around January, February. So she is in the process of getting those done now. And so that's why I'm giving this because she didn't have a lot to say other than the newest version should be coming out in the next few weeks. We will send an email once that is ready, but if you have the link saved, it now in the past you had to resave the link because it would only go to the old specs, but now that has been fixed so that the link that you have saved will automatically show the updated version. But if you're not sure, that first page has the recent revisions, and those are all in red, and it should also show a date that it was updated to make sure that you're looking at the right version. So just giving you a heads up that that should be coming soon, but again, we will email out when that is complete. And you can get that newest version either downloaded or just start referring to that on the website. Any questions on that? Okay, I believe that's all we have for today's meeting. This is Melissa's contact information if you have any specific questions about the Utrecht specifications. Um, but yeah, that is the last topic we have on the agenda. I will go through the meeting chat to compile the notes as always, but with specific attention today to the topic Cliff was talking about regarding the multi-factor authentication, and I will give his team that list so that they can continue addressing all of the Google users as they go forward with this. So if there is nothing else, I believe we are done. Yes, you can continue adding in if you are a Google user or have any sort of other concerns with that multi-factor authentication. And I will put all of those in a list to give to Cliff. If not, you are free to go about the rest of your day, and we appreciate you coming, and we will see you at the next meeting. Thank you.